Thank you, Madam Chair. Today, the committee will consider nominations to key posts at the Federal Aviation Administration, the Federal Trade Commission, Amtrak, the Consumer Product Safety Commission, as well as the promotion of 2 Coast Guard officers. Turning to the nominees, I support the confirmation of Michael Whitaker to be the next FAA administrator. His extensive aviation experience makes him well-suited to lead our nation's largest transportation safety agency, and he has pledged to this committee to stay out of politics and to focus on aviation safety, the FAA's primary responsibility. Mr. Whitaker's confirmation will bring to an end what was an avoidable 18-month gap in FAA leadership. It is unfortunate that the President took so long to heed my advice and the advice of many on this committee to nominate someone with actual aviation experience and aviation safety experience. Hopefully, this committee will soon turn to resuming consideration of the FAA reauthorization bill so that once confirmed, Mr. Whitaker will have the tools necessary to do his job. My Republican colleagues and I stand ready to hold amendment votes and to mark up our bill to avoid another extension. Today, the committee will also consider the nominations of Andrew Ferguson, Melissa Holyoke, and current Commissioner Rebecca Slaughter to the FTC. 3 well-qualified nominees whom I support. With Ms. Holyoke's and Mr. Ferguson's confirmations, the FTC will be bipartisan once again. When I was at the FTC, now 2 decades ago, bipartisanship was a defining characteristic of the agency, and one of the reasons it was so often successful. Sadly, FTC Chairwoman Lina Kahn has abandoned that legacy in favor of a partisan, legally suspect agenda that has devastated employee morale in the process. Mr. Ferguson and Ms. Holyoke will hopefully serve as much-needed checks on Chairwoman Kahn. This committee also has an important constitutional responsibility to serve as a check on the FTC, one that right now this committee is not fulfilling. Astonishingly, we have not had a hearing with Chairwoman Kahn in 910 days since she was first confirmed to that position. That's unacceptable. I will note that Republicans on this committee agreed to quickly move and process Mr. Whitaker's nomination to the FAA. And I hope that this committee will respond with similar comedy and schedule an FTC oversight hearing with Chair Kahn soon. The FTC continues to take an unreasonably expansive view of its authorities under Chair Kahn's leadership that this committee has an obligation to ask her about. She is also not responding adequately to my oversight letters. I have sent 7 oversight letters this year to Chair Kahn, and she has provided a complete response to only 1 of them. This administration is not unaccountable, even if they behave as if they believe they are. In addition to the FAA and FTC nominees, the committee will consider 3 nominations to Amtrak's board of directors. Amtrak receives billions in federal subsidies, so it needs board members who will ask tough questions to ensure that taxpayer dollars are spent responsibly and lawfully. One important area of inquiry for the board should be the delay in Amtrak's acquisition of new high-speed Acela train sets and the resulting cost increases that total many millions of dollars. I have been investigating this matter and have sent oversight letters to both Amtrak and the Department of Transportation. Amtrak has cooperated. DOT has just begun cooperating. One other issue is President Biden's current slate of nominees does not comply with the statutory requirement that no more than 4 of the 8 board members be from a state along the Northeast Corridor, a fact that I have raised since April. Last week, the president promised to bring his slate into compliance by substituting someone from outside the Northeast Corridor for one of the current Democrat nominees. Senator Tester, in particular, has been vocal and very effective on this issue. Based on President Biden's assurance and Amtrak's good faith cooperation with my investigation, I will today support moving the nominees out of committee. However, whether I can support floor consideration of the Democrat nominees will be up to President Biden and the Department of Transportation. The President must follow through on his promise, and DOT and Amtrak must continue cooperating with my investigation. Lastly, I want to turn to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. Doug Ziak is experienced in consumer product safety matters, has shown an ability to work in a bipartisan fashion to protect American consumers, and is well qualified to serve as a CPSC commissioner. I look forward to his confirmation, as well as the confirmation of the other 7 nominees and the 2 Coast Guard promotions pending before the committee today. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Cruz. I will now recognize you for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that PN 980, the nomination of Michael G. Whitaker of Vermont to be Administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration. PN 304, the nomination of Rebecca K. Slaughter of Maryland to be a Federal Trade Commissioner. PN 801, the nomination of Melissa A. Holyoke of Utah to be a Federal Trade Commissioner. PN 799 and PN 800, the nomination of Andrew N. Ferguson of Virginia to be a Federal Trade Commissioner. PN 14, the nomination of Anthony R. Kosha of New Jersey to be a Director of the Amtrak Board of Directors. PN 15, the nomination of Chris Coons of Illinois to be a Director of the Amtrak Board of Directors. PN 13, the nomination of Joel M. Shabbat of Maryland to be a Director of the Amtrak Board of Directors. PN 482, the nomination of Doug Ziak of Virginia to be a Commissioner of the Consumer Product Safety Commission. And PN 978, Coast Guard promotions, be favorably reported.
Is there a second?